Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a suspect in a Perry County shooting Tuesday was arrested. And a man accused of killing his neighbor in Pulaski County last year is back in court.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Welcome to Mountain News this morning. I'm Neely Green, live on air here with you on this Wednesday, March 5th. The time is now 6 o'clock, and let's check in with meteorologist Megan Desmond for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, I'm so happy because today's Thursday, which means it's almost Friday.
I know, it's like Friday Eve almost, right? Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the last day of the work week, especially since those chances of showers taper out a little bit heading into the last day. So let's kind of plan out that forecast for you, starting off with those temperatures as you're heading out the door. It's a mixture of the 60s for most folks. Some are a little bit chillier than others. It's 59 in Wise, 52 in Boonville. So you might need a light jacket as you're starting off your day, but by the afternoon, definitely not needing that coat. I mean, we are talking about 70s, mostly the mid to upper 70s, but you can kind of see almost this line. I'll go ahead and draw that in right about here, and that's where we'll see a difference between cooler temperatures and slightly warmer due to rain chances in the forecast. Neely.
Thank you, Megan. One person is dead after a vehicle fire in Laurel County. East Bernstadt Fire and Rescue says crews were called to El Gabbard Road near Rockcastle County just before 3 yesterday afternoon to a car fire with a person possibly trapped inside. When firefighters arrived, the vehicle was fully engulfed in flames. Crews were able to get into the vehicle where they found one person dead. Officials say they're not releasing the victim's identity at this time as the investigation continues. This story is new this morning. A resolution aimed at requiring that President Donald Trump seek congressional approval for future U.S. military action against Iran has failed. Senate Republicans rejected the War Powers resolution last night, with Kentucky GOP Senator Rand Paul joining almost all Democrats to advance it. Democratic Senator John Fetterman voted with Republicans to block it. Even if the measure had passed, it faced an uphill battle on Capitol Hill, where it would have likely faced a presidential veto if it even got that far. The House is expected to take a vote on the same issue later today. Now to an update this morning on a story we've been following. A suspect in Perry County shooting Tuesday was arrested. Deputies say Danny Blue Asher, who is accused of murdering Brian Huff Tuesday at the Bubby Combs apartment in Perry County, was found in Leslie County yesterday morning. Asher was arrested and was taken in for questioning. Perry County Sheriff Joe Engel says a man and woman who may have also been involved have not been caught.
If we do obtain warrants, the U.S. Marshal Service has agreed to help us locate the other. I think they kind of split ways yesterday afternoon somewhere up there in the Happy Scuddy community. Shortly after they left the dollar store, we think they went separate ways.
Sheriff Engel says the names and photos have not been released of the other two suspects, but they are not believed to be a threat to the public. We will pass any new information along as soon as we get it. Yesterday's statewide tornado drill turned into real confusion for hundreds of thousands across eastern Kentucky. Instead of a clearly marked test, the National Weather Service office in Jackson issued what looked like a real tornado warning affecting more than 700,000 people. Knox County Emergency Management Director Mike Taylor says schools and dispatchers were flooded with calls as students took cover and staff tried to figure out if there was an actual tornado threat.
I know a lot of our schools called, was worried that they were familiar with the drill that was supposed to happen at 10:07, but with some of the warnings not showing this was a test, you know, they got concerned. And
WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey says it's a serious error, warning that next time a real tornado warning is issued, people may hesitate and wonder if it's just another drill. This story is new this morning. President Donald Trump has officially nominated his choice for the next chairman of the Federal Reserve. According to a White House release, Trump's pick to replace Jerome Powell is Kevin Warsh of Florida. Warsh is a former inflation hawk who now favors lower interest rates. according to public statements he's made in recent months. He's also called for the overhauling the central bank's workforce. The position requires Senate confirmation. Powell's term as Federal Reserve Chair ends in May. President Trump met with leaders of tech giants, including Google, Meta, and OpenAI, to formalize an agreement aimed at protecting consumers from rising electricity costs. As he signed the agreement at the White House Wednesday, the president said big tech companies are committing to fully cover the cost of increased electric production needed for the massive data centers that artificial intelligence requires. President Trump also said the companies would add capacity to the electric grid where possible.
This means that the tech companies and the data centers will be able to get the electricity they need, all without driving up electricity costs for consumers. This is a historic win for countless American families and will also make our electricity grid stronger and more resilient than ever before.
The president said by 2035, energy demand is expected to triple, adding that much of that will come from the growth of AI. Military veterans and their partners are working for a national coalition to prevent veteran suicides in Kentucky. The Face the Fight partnership says it wants to reduce the stigma and tailor support for service members in the Commonwealth, where there is a higher suicide rate among veterans than many other states. Group leaders say veterans are most at risk in the first 6 to 12 months after leaving the military, and that targeted interventions can save lives.
And so if we can build interventions, if we can teach people to talk about this, if we can reduce stigma around talking about mental health, we can really solve things. And if we can be targeted at moments in time that matter the most to veterans, we can make huge impacts.
If you or someone you know is struggling, you can call or text 988, the Suicide Crisis Lifeline for veterans. Dial 988 and press 1 for the Veteran Crisis Lifeline. A former London city clerk is suing the mayor and city attorney, claiming she experienced sexual harassment and was wrongfully terminated. Marcy Berry filed a lawsuit against Mayor Randall Weddle and city attorney Larry Bryson. She started working for the city in 2020. She served as city clerk from January 2021 to March of 2023. Berry claims she was subjected to repeated inappropriate comments and sexual questions by both men, starting when Weddle was still a candidate. The lawsuit also alleges Berry was forced to use city resources for Weddle's mayoral campaign. Berry says she was fired in March 2023, just one day after testifying in an ethics hearing. She is now seeking damages for emotional distress and lost wages. A man accused of killing his neighbor in Pulaski County last year is back in court. James Edward Gleason is scheduled for a pretrial conference. He's charged with murder, possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, first-degree wanton endangerment, and intimidating a participant in the legal process. He was arraigned in December. Today's hearing is part of the process as the case moves towards trial. We are learning more about the deadly side-by-side crash that killed 16-year-old Emily Clark in Perry County over the weekend. The Sheriff's Department, the Perry County School District, and Social Services are all investigating. They are looking into a possible relationship between a minor and an adult involved. Sheriff Ingalls has confirmed that Noah Back, one of the adults at the scene, brought alcohol earlier that day. Ingalls said they have confiscated Back's phone.
We're investigating, which was part of the reason of taking the phone. Is there inappropriate contact between an adult and a minor? So that's another investigation that's not exactly related to the accident, but it's different that we're looking at. So those things take some time, and we're going through this thoroughly.
Sheriff Ingalls said a minor confessed to driving the UTV, and she has been served a citation and court date. Blood results are pending to see if alcohol was in her system. However, officials say the adults involved could also face charges. Emily's funeral is set this Saturday at 1 p.m. at the John C. Combs Arena at Perry County Central High School.
Now we're still nice and dry this morning as you're heading out the door. However, we do have some rain chances on the way. So take a look towards satellite and radar again. As you can see, no rain actively falling in eastern Kentucky. But as we zoom out at the state as a whole, you can see that rain is on the way from Carbondale all the way up to just north of Cincinnati. That's what's going to enter into our region as we head into the afternoon. Now the rain will primarily just be for our far northwestern counties, but everyone does have at least a chance of seeing some scattered shower activities. Overall, though, we will be looking at nice temperatures in the 60s this morning and the 70s by the afternoon. And you can see where the cooler temperatures are located. That's where the highest chance of rain will be. Neely.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Strikes in the Middle East intensify with Iran making a new threat against President Trump.